Oh, yes. Oh, God. I'm locked up right now. This is the Chastity Show. Oh, my God. I feel like, seriously, I feel like I said it before. I'll say it again. I feel like the coolest guy in the world because I know the two coolest women in the world who are key holders, Nicco Noire and Goddess Starla Vamp. Oh, my God. I am so honored that I know these people, and you should be honored that you're in their presence right now. Please welcome Nicco and Starla. Say hi.
Hi,
Hey,
Nicco and Starla.
what an introduction. Thank you, Nick.
I know, I feel so fancy. Don't you feel fancy all of a sudden?
We all
I'm like,
have common interests, don't we?
we do.
Yes. And one of
Cocks
them
and
is chastity.
locks.
Cocks and locks. That's one of them is chastity. Let's kick it off with Nicco. Nicco had a person today just come in and just tell us all.
Well, it was actually last night. I had a great first session actually with a new client, and he contacts me and he's like, first of all, he wins my heart with telling me he's a huge size whore, and I'm like, I already like you. Come to me. And then he tells me I'm a huge size whore and I'm a huge cuckold and I'm in chastity. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a whole new spin on everything. So anyhow, he comes in chastity. We have a great session. I stick things in his butt much larger than my arm, and we had a great time. And I asked him. I said, "So who's got the key to this?" And he told me how he was actually self-chastising at the moment, and he was so fucking bored and he couldn't stand it, but he needed it. And I thought that was fascinating. And those were the words he used. He said he needed it, and I just said, you know what? You do need it. You do. So I'm sure, hopefully, I get to see him again. But and hopefully he's going to be typing in here soon. I actually sent him the information for the show because I'm dead curious to have, I would love to hear what makes you need to self-chastise. Is it is it because you need to you need to withhold from masturbating? Do you like the tease, the constant arousal, the constant knowing that it's, it's like a little secret you have with yourself? And I guess those are the questions that I have.
I think before we go on, reasons why people choose chastity is it for me personally. Everyone's different, obviously. Mm-hmm. Everyone's got a different style. I get turned on by the attention, the actual, like, the feeling of being owned and wanted. Like, I'm so good that I have to be locked up and hold and kept like a toy. But it's also but it's also the ownership and the possession of, like, the masturbation. I control your orgasms. I control what turns you on, and then it's also an excuse for cross-dressing as well. The whole.
Now, why is an excuse for cross-dressing? Why do you have? Why are they?
That's a good question. Because, well, I think people, and including me, we use it as a self of, like, cross-dressers and sissies and that whole thing. A lot of us, we can't control our horniness. So yeah, you know what I mean? Oh wait.
Hello? Wouldn't it be about, like, being addicted to that certain sensation too?
That too. It's a wild, complicated mixture of emotions.
Like, not to throw my own habits into it because I don't know what it feels like, but I masturbate a certain way. Cat's out of the bag. I love my Hitachi wand. I'm addicted to the sensation and the particular sensation. Okay, a little bit too much information. And maybe you guys, I have a long history with the Hitachi wand.
I can almost only exclusively come with I blame Hitachi. I'm like, well, you've ruined me for all other subs and slaves, and then because now I can only get off on my Hitachi.
Speaking of Hitachi wand, I must interrupt real quick. Please send us a new one. We broke it.
I
Send
Got
us
it.
three.
Not even a
explode on me. I was doing a shoot and the cord folded and it snapped. I kid you not, it exploded during the shoot. Oh, sunshine. Hi. Yeah. So they pack a lot of punch. But anyway, in the early days, with the Hitachi, I could put it like right on myself. And then I realized like I love that thing so much, it would give me like a burn, like a friction burn. So
Like a
now,
chap.
yeah. So now I have to have like a piece of fabric in between me and my Hitachi wand, and it can't be any other sensation. I've conditioned myself so much, and to know that certain sensation, that certain pleasure, that I'm addicted to that. Like I've tried other sex toys. I've tried like the womanizer and all that, and it's nice, but I'm so deeply programmed for that sensation. So I can imagine like if you're wearing, and I'm sure people get addicted to the certain product of the chastity device, like whether it be the metal or the plastic. And when you're wearing that thing for hours, it's gonna like imprint that sensation, and like you're like conditioning yourself. And so if if you have like a really good experience with that certain product, you're gonna like crave that, I think.
Stan Vladimir says chastity play could be explored in so many ways. For me, I'd be interested in more to prove my loyalty and devotion to the one I love. That is an interesting topic because I do view it that way too. Is that I romanticize things. I romanticize things. I'm not into personally. I'm not into your dick is worthless. You're a piece of shit. You're useless. Blah blah blah. I like to fuck, and I like to think I'm good at it. Obviously, So it's like the narrative for me is being unlocked, and like it's the end of the world, and the only thing that I could do to save it is to fuck. You know what I mean? Is so, but the loyalty aspect really comes across that I'm locked for this person. And I find that I find that romantic. Now, who has someone locked right now? Nicco, can you please tell us all about it?
I can tell you all about it. So, got a little story, everybody. Gather around. I have had a client with me for going on almost 3 years. He did not start out in chastity with me. He definitely started off a fetishist of pantyhose and feet, and very submissive. And but he always talked about chastity. He always talked about chastity, and we'd play with it in sessions, and we had great fun with it, and it was fun. And so, as we've progressively seen each other throughout the years, obviously you create a bond, you create a relationship, you create an intimacy with your subs. And so I told him, I think it was for Christmas. I'm like, because he lives in a different state. And I said, next time you come out to see me, bring your chastity. And he did. And he came to me in it. Well, lo and behold, that was the very beginning of January. And I sent him home in it. I have the only key. He doesn't come back to see me until Valentine's Day. So that's where we're at. And that was his first like true real dive into like actual real lifestyle. This is my fucking real life chastity. So
it does change everything once you hear the go click. I feel it's like, oh, we're gonna take this ride. You know what I mean? Emotionally, mentally, we're gonna take this ride. So Starla, let's say, well, it's true. Nicco has someone in chastity, long distance. Do you have any ideas for Nicco to tease her chastity self?
I'd send him to
I'm taking notes. Send him to the strippers.
Well, I don't know. I just send him to the strippers.
Send him to the strippers. I love it.
And it's too bad because you couldn't take photo proof, but maybe he could take a picture of the strip club
He
or
can
something.
he can go into the bathroom,
His shoes on the
take a
carpet
picture,
or something,
whatever.
but,
Right.
I don't know. I just love.
So
the
okay, so
stripper.
here's the interesting thing about this particular person. So one of his fetishes, one of the things that he loves, he gets off on, is the domestic servitude, right? And it's not just like regular domestic servitude. Like he has an actual like it's he calls them small tasks with measurable that have measurable outcomes. So he can measure his goals, so he can see how well he's done, so he knows if he's actually allowed to get out or not. And so it's like he wants to do things like sweep my floor. He wants to, organize my closet, put together shoe racks. He's very interested in anything that has to do with my feet, and and anything that has to do with and he has a fetish for flats. Who does that? Who does that?
I've met.
Do you know?
I can't put my finger on like who, but I've seen it. I've seen people who like flats.
Discrete, measurable tasks. There he is.
You know what's funny is that I grew up. I was a slob as a kid. I really was. My mom would always be like, "You gotta clean your room." My girlfriends were always like, "Oh, you got stuff all over the place." Once I started experimenting with chastity, guess what? I put on a French maid outfit and I cleaned the whole house. I vacuumed. Everything was spotless. The dishes were done.
Well, so that reminds me. What?
Oh, Nick, now that you say that, I wasn't as tidy like when I was young, and it wasn't really until I worked in a dungeon where you have to sanitize and clean a lot that I started becoming like really like a germaphobe, and like I really it turned around. But it wasn't really until I had my own space or could start. Well, it's funny because I did like fetishize cleaning dungeons, and then it turned around.
I totally get it. Like I totally get it, because I did the exact same thing. Like I had this like completely rose visioned idea of working in a dungeon until I worked in a dungeon. And then I was like, I'm just going to steam clean my whole fucking life and everything in it. Like, that's just where I'm at now.
I identify more with cleanliness is godliness. I would like listen to techno music and think that mantra in my head and clean my apartment like a psycho. So
like a psychopath. Yes, I understand that.
Cleaning your apartment with techno music is something that I do all the time. I don't clean your apartment to techno music. I clean my psycho TV.
Oh, well then, if you're not going to clean my apartment. So back to Mike the Norwegian and his discrete measurable tasks. He is first and foremost one of my favorite people. He's absolutely fucking hilarious. And he has this level of trust with me that I respect so much. And we do not have a fuck you in your dick kind of situation. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not something that we're doing out of malice. It's definitely something that we're doing out of care and love and fun.
Which is so important. Sorry, on a side note, that's so important. It comes from a healthy place. Yeah.
I mean, it's communicative, and he doesn't like it, and I don't care, and we both understand that, so it works out. But he loves it secretly. He does. That's the thing. Is he tells me, he's like, I hate this, but I love it so much.
Yeah. No,
it's such a weird like paradigm.
It's so complicated, so weird that it feels weird. I mean, I'm not in chastity 24/7. I usually just do it like for like a day or two, maybe 2 or 3 days. We do our thing, we have our fun, and we go about our lives, and then we kind of get that vibe again. We're like, you want to play? Yeah, let's play. Okay, and but it's done with a different style. So You have someone locked up now. Let's get back to the questions because we'll never get anything done. All right. Starla, do you have anyone locked up right now?
No.
Okay.
I'm just.
What is the longest you have had someone locked up, Starla?
Early days, it'd probably be like a week. Like I'm kind of with you, Nick, where it's like I have the most fun with a couple days, and then intimately it was probably like a week. So it's not that much of a flex, but
Well, yeah.
But with that said, I was part of sort of like a telephone line with someone who was married. So I was kind of in on it. And kind of like teasing him and stuff, but it wasn't like an intimate locking. I have a lot of like I don't know how to explain this. Like fast chastity, I guess. You want to say
it's a thing.
And because of my videos, like and you know, like I am so down for like fast chastity because I like it's fun sensation. Like I played with pain and like with in public and stuff, and I would put clamps on like my nipples or my lips or whatever and do it for like a couple of hours, and then you want out because it's painful. So I don't know what a chastity device feels like.
It's
and
the first time and
how painful it would be. So with fast chastity, like I've met countless people. You know, I'm just meeting them. They're already locked up. They've done their homework. They've done their research, and they already know what device they like, and they want to be teased, and then they want to be let out at the end. And it's fast, but it works for them. And like I've seen a lot of like of the negative side of chastity too, and sort of like with like sort of the new wave coming up where, you know, like a young dom might realize, oh, I can lock a guy up and then just keep charging him for money and keep draining him. So I've heard like dark stories about, you know, of
you have to use your power for good and not evil in that situation.
About women like just kind of being dark about, like I got a phone call from a longtime client, and I would always do fast chastity with him, and I felt like it was the most realistic. And then he went off and saw a younger dom and went off the dark side with this young dom. And he's like, she's got the key. She's got the only key. Right. And she wants X amount of dollars, like kind of like blackmail or something. Like she wants X amount of dollars to let him out. And he's like, how do I get out of here? And I'm like, well, you can. And I said, I have so many keys, and a lot of them are like kind of generic. Like, I don't know, like some of them, they're compatible, and then
get bolt cutter.
They aren't compatible. But yeah, you can get bolt cutters from Home Depot, or I know a story where someone actually called the fire, like, kid you not, they called the fire department to cut them out, which
because the fire department
if you're panicked, and like maybe you don't want to use the fucking bolt cutters on yourself, so you're gonna anyway. Bless the fire department. Like yeah,
they see some shit, right?
Mike the Norwegian chimes in and says, "I love the fact that Nicco is in control of my release."
Well, you know, so do I. But
well, there's comfort in that. I get that. There's comfort in there's comfort in having a key holder. I'm not going to name any names, but there was a person at the manor who, when I first went in, it was the opening night, and the guy was just standing there in the dungeon, locked in chastity, alone. And I got to know him eventually throughout the many nights being there. And he went there alone, hoping to connect with somebody, anyone. Just to I guess it was a way of saying I need a key holder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are people who want that connection. Now, okay, so we got the locked up, the time. Now there's a type of chastity. There's usually metal, silicone, and plastic. Starla, what's your preference?
Metal.
Why is that?
Heavy metal. Yeah. It's beautiful. It sparkles.
Yeah. Yeah. Are those custom made, or are those?
No.
What?
I think this one's called the Curve. But yeah, I've had people probably recognize that I've had it for a long time.
Yeah, I recognize it.
Serves me well.
Speaking of tasks, just so you know, one of the tasks that I had when I was locked in chastity many years ago, through Lynn, who my dom passed away at the time, who I my fiance. She used to send me locked in chastity. We called it Force Femme Fridays. So I'm at work, garter belt, stockings, and suit and tie, and she would send me videos, Femdom Vibe videos, and she'd
Really?
quiz me on them. She would quiz me on them. She knew I'd get so turned on by them, and she would quiz me on them and be like, "Well, what did Starla do at this time to do this? And we're gonna do this. We're gonna So yeah,
That's
you were
really
part of
sweet. That's really sweet.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
What about you, Nico? Metal, plastic, or
Take your pick, Nick. I do not discriminate on cages. I don't actually have a preference either, because here's where I'm coming from. So if you're consenting to let me put a cage on your cock for a little bit or a long bit, I do want you to be at least as comfortable as possible in it when I'm not making you uncomfortable in it. Which, by the way, I would like to point out that I have made sure that Mike Norwegian is very uncomfortable all the time. That's because I care about his cock.
I want to talk about that. Not the uncomfortable aspect of it. So there are as someone who's been in chastity, there is this beautiful uncomfortable feeling. It's almost, you find comfort in being uncomfortable in a way. Does that make sense?
I swear to God, male chastity is the first time in my life I've ever legitimately had fucking penis envy. You know that? Because I can't imagine what it would be like to be able to wield a cock and not be able to do fuck all about it. And that would, I don't even know. Like, I can't even,
it's frustrating.
I don't know.
But what I'm
it's
saying
the only
is
time.
there are ways to tease. Like you said, there's the loving tease, but we also see, as I've seen with both of you, you could be very mean and angry, humiliating, and that's part of the act. It's all part of the thing. So what are some of the meanest, most brutal things you've done to somebody in chastity?
Well, a couple days ago, I sent him a picture of myself in the bathtub with the key around my ankle. And now that's pretty much destroyed his life for the last week. And I send him stuff every day, pretty much, of either me changing my clothes or changing my shoes or, just like graphic, like, rubbing my crotch through pantyhose, whatever, because I care.
Starla, I remember in your video, Starla, there were, and like I said, I know it's dominatrix, it's role play, stuff like that, saying, especially there's one video of you and another woman, and basically you and the other woman are going at it and basically saying that this other person is useless because they're locked up and I'd rather be with this other woman. You know what I mean?
You have such good videos.
Thanks.
Are there other?
You really do.
We shot that one over here. I'm moving out of this apartment, and this is like memory lane. Like, if these walls could talk. So it's bittersweet. I'm excited for something fresh and for like a new start in a new place, but this apartment has a lot of memories. And it's even strange, like I don't have things on the wall, so I don't know if you can hear, but the walls are echoing. Like it's so bizarre. But yeah.
Now you're moving, right? You're moving from Montreal to Calgary?
Yeah.
So what inspired that?
Some personal things. Yeah, there's a few different reasons. I'm just gonna say they're personal reasons, I guess. It's the politics in Canada too. So I don't want to get into it. I don't want to bore anybody.
Is Justin causing you problems?
Oh
Justin
yeah.
Thoreau?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Politics.
Okay.
So but to answer your question, Nick, the answer that I want to give is probably like cock and ball torture. like with someone in a device.
So you would you beat the cock or the balls? Because like, it's in a
Like
device.
both.
So
Both.
how would you beat the cock? Like how the shaft if it's encased in chastity?
You just hit it. You just whack it.
Yeah, of course. Let's get some comments here. Sunshine goes, Mike Norwegian. Sunshine says, "You are such a lucky sub to be locked and released someday by Nico."
I love the someday sentiment because it's so true. Someday.
Yeah.
One
And
day.
then Mike Norwegian responds, "We chose plastic because I travel a lot. I like to think about the fact that Nico is going about her day in life, not thinking about my predicament. And it's all that I could think about every second." It does. He's right. Seriously. So Femdom Fridays. I'm at work, suit and tie. I'm in office going through cubicles saying, like, "Hey, yeah, I'll call you, whatever." I'm wearing garter belt stockings, locked in chastity. I can't think of anything because Lynn is sending me videos of Starla. So you're right.
How could you think about anything else?
You can't. It's wild. Okay, back to the
that would be
questions.
rough.
We're talking about pain. Spike pat chastity. Do you ever use it? Yes or no?
I
have in the past.
I never have.
I've also used electric chastity.
Please.
Those are gnarly and fun.
I envy that. I busted out my neon wand the other day.
Yeah.
With someone, he didn't like it. He wasn't into it. He's like, it hurts. I'm like, what's the point? So he wouldn't let me use it on his cock, but so I envy that. I like a little bit of neon wand play.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so here's the funny thing. So I'm terrified of electricity. I don't know why. I know how to use it. I use it all the time, but for whatever reason, every time I'm in the back of my head, I'm like, and this is how I die. So I got this chastity device. This was a while back. It has a sound bit that you put down into the urethra, and then it comes through and it has like these little spiky bits, but they're not like hurt you spiky bits. It's just like little nubby spiky bits that go around the balls, and they're actually electrodes, and you can control them individually. So the sound is electrocuted, and the nubs around the balls are electrocuted. So I literally have a device where I can electrocute both or one at a time and from anywhere.
That's
yeah. I'm like, are you at work right now?
Do you find that your subs come to you with the idea of chastity more now than in the past than before, or just in general, as opposed to you introducing the idea?
I never introduce it. I have people who come to me for a session who don't know who I am, or they like just know me as this happens all the time. It is like, not to be a bitch, but it is so fucking annoying. And they come like,
they don't know who Starla Vamp is.
So the young new wave is coming to me thinking like they're gonna fucking teach me something. I'm like, bitch, I made the blueprint. Like,
I am the bar. Stupid.
Yeah. So I have some people who know who I am, and they come to me and they're like, help me, and they're like all locked up already. And but yeah, I've also like had some people who knew who I was. They come to me locked, and they were just so strung out about the whole thing that I had to block them. Like, and I have one guy, I saw him once, and I'm like, he was sketched. So, it has to come from a healthy place, because he seemed like strung out, sketched out. And then I saw him at another dungeon. I'm like, okay, that's that guy. But yeah, they all like
stalker status.
Yeah. So they just come bolting out of the gate wearing their chastity devices, and they want the fast chastity. So that's what I get.
Now let me ask, what does it do for you when you hear the lock close click? Does it do anything? Does it make you smile? Does it make you sad? Does it make you happy? Like, there's a feeling for the sub when the lock goes click. It's like, oh, we're about to take this. We're about to go on this emotional, sexual roller coaster ride. Even if I'm just lying here and I'm ignored, I'm still in chastity.
Right.
You know what I mean? Does it do anything for you when you lock someone up? Like the moment, like when you emotionally, or
Yes.
you know, does it?
I'm still running a gamut of emotions. So when I put Nicco Norwegian back into chastity after only being let out for 15 minutes after 4 weeks, I didn't really think it through too much. I don't know why. I just said, you know what? I'm not going to see you until Valentine's Day. So, and I sent him on his way. So it's been now almost 8 weeks, and I'm having feelings because, you know, that's a long time to have a giant cock under a lock. So, and I mean, he's working with more than the average Joe. So I'm having a feeling that he's got to be uncomfortable. And now I'm feeling like, you know, not just a mean, nasty dominatrix, but now I'm starting to feel like, you know, am I being a bad person? But at the end of the day, I check back in with him. I talk to him. We communicate, and he's honest with me, and he gives me very detailed, you know, detailed kind of blow by blow how his day was and where he was at with it, because I need to know. Because if at any point he starts to resent me for doing this, then it's not fun anymore. If at any point I start resenting him, it's not fun anymore. And I like him so much more than to lose him over something as stupid as being a mean, nasty dominatrix. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. 15 minutes in 8 weeks, shut up. Well, that's true. It is true. But at least you got 15 minutes.
With that being said, Mike the Norwegian just commented 15 minutes out in 8 weeks. So that's what he's stating, that he got a
It's
full
true.
15 minutes.
A full 15 minutes.
Right.
And you know what? It was a great 15 minutes.
It's a lot longer than I would have wanted, but I still enjoy the fact that Nicco is in control. That is very telling. It is. It's very telling. It's like the beautiful frustration. You know, it's like, oh, God damn it. I even do the fact that if I get out of the shower and like say Sunshine wants to, we're going to a party, let's go to chastity. I'm like, but as soon as it's on, I'm like, all right. I don't know. It feels like I belong to something. I don't know.
Well, Nick, you've met latex. I'm sorry, you've met the latex cowboy, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Okay, so you know when we do rope and stuff, yeah. When we do rope and stuff, I require him to be in chastity when he does it. Because first of all, he's a super talented rope artist, so A, it makes him better, and B, usually when we're doing rope, I'm either naked or next to naked because it's more of a private situation, and it just makes me feel better. That's all.
All right, now Starla and Nicco. Starla first though. If you could put anybody, living or dead, into chastity and have control over them for, let's say, a week, who would it be?
A couple people come to mind.
Sure.
But probably Beethoven.
Really? Why? Why Beethoven?
Because I would want to know what the music would sound like. And because I think Symphony number 5 already sounds like he's in chastity.
I wonder if like I wonder if artistically you write a song not chaste and then you put on chastity and then you try to write a song if the difference, or if you play the song if it plays different, like the chastity remix version of a song.
Yeah, like
you think Depeche Mode has chastity remixes of the Personal Jesus, Nicco?
Oh God.
Someone has to go to chastity and mix that.
I would wear chastity for Depeche Mode. I would put
Well-
myself into chastity for Depeche Mode. I love Depeche Mode. If you're watching this, Martin Gore, David Kahan, if you're watching this, if you want to get fucked up by me, I will fuck you up. If you want to fuck me up, I'll switch. It's fine. We can do this. I love you more than anything in the world. The end.
Sunshine says Beethoven. I love that, Starla. But now I want to talk about female chastity as role play. You know, female chastity, the chastity belts. For those who don't know, it goes all the way to what, Dark Ages, medieval times, and fucking asshole kings making their queens and whatever. So, have you ever experienced any kind of role play with female chastity?
Absolutely not.
No, I feel like I wore one once though. God.
Wait, you don't remember if you wore a chastity?
No, I think we okay. I think I didn't wear it for someone, but we had one at one of the dungeons because I go on different sets and stuff, like different studios. So I feel like I think I saw one. I don't know if I wore anyway. I digress. Someone I had a client too who gave me like a leather one. I haven't tried it on, but actually I think it's in that bag there. Here, I'll go see if it's in that bag.
Yeah, I've never ever worn a female chastity device. However, I have sounded myself with a female sound before because,
Really?
you know, yeah, you know.
Tell us about that.
Well, so I needed to know because I'd gone through this like big spree of sounding clients for whatever reason by request, and so I was like, what's the deal? And so I was working at a dungeon at the time, and they had a whole, I mean, they had beautiful sounds. I was working actually, this was when I was in Arizona at the Den of Indomitus. If anybody has been there or is going to Phoenix, Arizona, go there. That said, they had a set of female sounds, and so I, put them in the autoclave, pulled them out of the autoclave, and figured it out because I wanted to know what I was doing to people.
For those
and
who don't
it's
know,
a sensation.
Can you describe what a female sound is? So for those who don't know.
So a female sound, it's just like a male sound, but it's a surgical steel metal rod that goes into your urethra, and basically it has an actual medical purpose. It's meant to help dilate the urethra. But if you're using it for medical play or sexual sensation, it's definitely a sensation. You have a lot of nerve endings around the opening of the urethra, and also further back in the urethra, there's a cluster of, for women, there's a cluster of nerve endings that totally can make you come. In men, it hits your prostate. So, that said, sounding is definitely a thing. That's where you can, it almost goes along the lines of anal stimulation, and in the way that you can milk the anal glands. You can milk the prostate from sounding. The end.
Talking about milking, coming in a chastity cage. Now.
Oh, ask Mike the Norwegian about that.
Yes. So please tell us about, and Starla, I've seen it in action. Oh, so please.
I've never worn this. Maybe I'll meet somebody in Calgary and we'll have a good time. It's not really like you could still have sex in that though. Like it's like a leather thong, but I mean, it's the thought that counts, right? This is actually really cute. I have to make
actually super sexy. I kind of like it. You should try it on.
Yeah, I've never tried it on.
There's no time like the present. That's why it's a gift, Starla. Give us all a gift, baby. Come on. She's like, fuck you, Nico.
Dan Vladimir asks, how about putting a female chastity device on a male?
See, now I think I like where your head's at, Stan.
They do make chastity device like belts for men, where there's a thing for the shape. Like you wouldn't even tell that you're wearing it because it like tucks the cock in. and it's metal, and it like folds it in, and it's a whole belt that goes around. So yeah, they do make female chastity for men,
Yeah.
or belt like female. So coming in a cage, what's the best way to make a chastity slave come in a cage?
Good old Hitachi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we tried it and it broke 8 months in.
Hitachi, send us stuff. Hitachi, send us stuff.
Actually, we should you know what? Hitachi and Steelworks and Mature Metal, why not send us all chastity devices and violet wands so we could test them and then review them on the show?
Could you please?
Get to work.
We only do this for a living.
I used to Extreme Restraints used to send us some stuff. That was too long ago.
So when it comes to chastity, what brands are good in your opinion?
I don't have brands I don't have brands that I would name like, right off the top of my head unless they were endorsing me.
You can just buy stuff off. Not that I'm gonna plug. Well, whatever. This is contemporary times, but Amazon has so much stuff. It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
You can just you just get it the next day.
Mike the Norwegian says, I've gotten to come twice in 8 weeks, once in a cage and once during my glorious 15 minutes of freedom. So Nicco, how would you feel? I'm going to ask Starla this too, but Nicco, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? What phrase or word comes to your mind as being a keyhole?
Responsibility. Responsibility for someone's feelings, responsibilities for someone's emotional place, responsibility for someone's physical status, responsibility for someone's cock. I mean, I'm literally, it's heavy. It's heavy, but it's also, it's very, it makes it, the trust level there, and the trust level there is like unparalleled. So it feeds me in a way that he gives me so much trust and so much ownership of something that is clearly so important to all men. And
Starla, what when it comes to being a key holder, what is the first thing that comes to your head? First comes to your mind?
Maybe it's not romantic, but it's expectation. Like, because say the dom is an artist and the sub is an artist. Like, in a way they are, because you have creative thinking, you have like fanciful notions of things, and you're kind of like creating like lifestyle art. So the dom, it's like the dom has a mood board, and it's like, and boundaries and concept, like, because being in chastity is an abstract concept, so that's like a lot of different things. So how does the dom and her mood board meet the mood board and expectation of the sub? So it's like the communication that has to make it all come together and make it compatible. But I think because there's just so much like chemically that's happening, like there's so much adrenaline when you're starting off playing with somebody, and yeah, I think there's definitely different expectations like further on in that relationship than early days, because I think early days it's like a vanilla relationship. Early days are easy. It's just such a rush. And I think the same is with being in chastity or key holding, is early days, like, you can go harder just because of the rush, because it's fun. And then, yeah, later on there's different expectations. So
Stan Vladimir asks, is there ever been a situation where a chastity device breaks?
Yeah. Well, I've had clients tell me, I don't know if I have heard that before. I used to play around with the CB6000 a lot, and yeah, and actually I had a device too that broke. I don't know when it broke. I don't know if it like somebody stepped on it or cracked, or like cracked while somebody was wearing it. Something that we haven't brought up though is being able to slip out of it.
Yes, please talk about that.
So yeah, people can cheat.
That's the next question. That was my next question, is cheaters, especially Nicco, you have someone long distance.
Yes.
How do you stop them from cheating?
Well, we communicate. And because he has been in chastity for so long, and it is so long term, I give him the out all the time. I've told him several times, look, if you become claustrophobic, if this becomes a chore in a way that you no longer want to wear the, like, I'm human, you know, I'm a dominatrix, I'm a mean, nasty bitch. That's 100% true. But I also am a human, and I respect humans. And I understand that, you know, this is a long time. You know, you wanted real lifestyle. And so we jumped into the very deepest end that there was. I sincerely doubt that I would ever keep him in chastity for this long again. That said, I give him outs. If he wants that key, I will overnight it to him, because he's already proven himself to me. I don't feel like there's not cheating. Do you know what I mean? Because I think Starla said it really well earlier. The short chastity, the in and out, the sensation, that's really, you know, what most people are looking for. In my situation, it's an ownership issue. And so they're two different sensations. One is the long haul, and one is the right now. So you kind of have to decide where your cock lives.
What about you, with Starla? Anybody, did you ever catch anyone cheating, and what'd you do?
I wouldn't say that. I would say it's topping from the bottom with chastity, which is so fucking annoying, to be honest. So yeah. So I had a special case, and I put him in chastity, and then he painted this whole scenario like, oh, let's do this session, and let's do this long-term thing, and XYZ, and we're gonna do like teasing and this, and like planning a little romantic whatever. And it was okay, I'm gonna go off on a tangent, but
it's all good.
There's a lot of nuances to doing this. So I've seen a lot of different cases. So talking about the guy who was like kind of strung out with his chastity, like that's a red flag. Another red flag is just somebody who they're going through like this deep emotional thing, like I don't know, like I'm like some kind of midlife crisis or something, and then they're channeling all of that anxiety and this deep-seated confusion into the chastity, and it's like you don't know what you want, and they're just sort of like hurtling their midlife crisis or whatever into that. So I had a client for like years. I was doing the fast chastity with him, and then like he was going through a divorce and like, you know, like some personal turmoil and stuff, and then he paints like this romantic chastity scenario, and I'm like, he's just fucking bullshitting. Like, why? Like, and he was going on and on about all this, and I'm like, he's bluffing, and because he's bluffing, he's fucking topping from the bottom, and because he's not serious, he is taking away my time, and it is painful to hear him say things that aren't true.
Never waste the Dom's time.
Like, I need to wash my brain after hearing this kind of bullshit. So when somebody like tops from the bottom with something where it's supposed to be this like delicious like control and all this, it's it's a privilege in the first place to meet someone who will meet you and fucking care about you mentally and physically, and to like just fuck with that, it's not good for karma.
You are 100% right. It is a privilege to be here. You are very fucking welcome. By the way, you want to top from the bottom. You want to try to steal my power. Good fucking luck. Yeah. Move on and kick rocks. I have better things to do. Don't come to me with your bratty shit. You either want to submit to me or fuck on off and do the other direction. Because I didn't come here to be your mother. That's a different dominatrix.
Yeah, they do make dominatrixes that do that.
100%. Okay. And I'm not taking anything away from that. I'm just saying I'm not that one.
I think we have a responsibility, because we are talking about chastity, that it can go down some dark roads. Some bad things can happen. For example, I'm not naming any names, but I was in a relationship and the woman wanted to not only throw the key down the toilet, but like wanted to really abuse me in the sense that wanted to kill me, right? But also didn't want to ever let me out and literally control me in a sinister way. And the
first question is why?
Well, it went from role play to mental illness, basically.
Okay.
That's
different. I was just making sure you didn't deserve it.
Shit gets dark.
It does get dark. So are there any situations that you can tell us about either you know of or that you've heard of? And also, how can we make sure that stuff like this doesn't happen to us again?
It's really scary and bothersome where like the ethics of BDSM are like a smokescreen for sinister shit, like actual sinister shit.
Right.
And that's part of yeah. With all my years of doing this, it's like the fantasy will not protect you. The irony, like I used to kind of think irony would shield me, because I could say if I'm saying something ironic out loud and like I'm communicating that, I kind of felt like I had a sphere of like of irony like protected, and it does not. So it's just just be on your toes, like, but that's everyday life, like in the fantasy or outside the fantasy. And I've seen people, I'm not naming names, but it got twisted. Like they were a certain kind of like dominant, and then it got fucking corrupt and it got weird. And because sometimes when you actually have that power, you start to feel like entitlement. You
start to manipulate it into something different.
Yeah, and then you get surrounded by other people who, they see that you have this power, and they want to get in on the game, and then that inner circle starts to get like fucking weird, you know? So like that's like, and people change. So
people change. That is the truest fucking statement of the evening by far. People fucking change, and people are allowed to change. However, you do not have to change if you don't want to, or you can change in an entirely different direction, but you need to try. Our evolution is supposed to be betterment. Be better than you were. Be fucking better than you were. And if you're going to be worse, be better at being worse. I'm just saying. If people change, and people are allowed to like something one day and not the next. And that's why I think communication is so important. And yeah, you have to have that open communication, and you have to listen. And I may not care, but I hear you. You know, and you take that, and if you're hearing someone, you either stop that, you modify that, you give them a different option, a different outlet, a different way, but you have to hear what people are saying, and you have to allow them to change, because nobody stays the same. I'm sorry, people. You're all fucking different today than you were yesterday.
Change is the only constant in life.
Thank you.
So on a lighter note, Stan asks, what kind of customized chastity device would you like to have? As an example, you know the movie Alien, right?
Yes.
The head alien that
the sucker.
They make a chastity device like that. They do. It looks like not the face hugger, the other one, the main one. They make a chastity device like that. So if you could make any kind of chastity device, even if it's just a little thing, just the color, what would be your perfect chastity device? Or not perfect, just something that you'd like to see.
Mine would always be black. Always. Everything's always black. And mine, I think, would be like diamond studded. Like very fancy and shiny and fabulous. Elton John-esque. That's where I would go with it, I think. Like, I would make your cock fabulous if you're going to put it in a cage. Look at Starla. She's like, I haven't decided yet. There's so many options, though, right? Like, it could go in a direction. It's a case-by-case situation, really, because it really depends on the cock. What does this? How would you adorn this cock? It's not a one size fits all situation, just like the cages.
Oh,
okay. Art,
maybe
right?
this is boring or cheesy or whatever, but
No.
maybe a glow in the dark one.
I think that's awesome. Especially, I would keep it pitch black 100% of the time.
Like, I don't know where, like, I don't know. Like, maybe if you're going to a special party and you want to wear it, and
for some reason I'm thinking of like the 80s.
Yeah. Well, haven't you ever been?
That just like came to my mind.
Starla, I know that you've been to the naked man dressed women parties. I know that you have. You haven't been to those parties where the guys are wearing those fancy ass cock rings that go up there that have the butt plugs in them too? Oh my God, all of the tables had all of these dudes, they were all tables, and all of the hors d'oeuvres were on their backs. And these guys had these crazy like cock chastity devices on with these big butt plugs in their asses. And I was just like, well, that's
seen effective. That. Well, in a video.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen that like the hooks too, but yeah.
Oh yeah. I have a hook.
So one thing I do want to talk about between you two is long distance chastity versus in-person chastity. One of the tasks for I've said this before on the show, so please, because this is chastity, let me rephrase it again. I had a friend who was made by his dom to jerk off into a condom over and over again until you get as much as you can, put it inside a paper towel dispenser or toilet paper, the cardboard thing, put it in the freezer, freeze it up to make it look, stretch it out, make it look like a condom. Put the key in it before it puts in the freezer. So the key is in his semen, which is frozen into a cock. Take it out of the condom. And the sissy had to fuck, while in chastity, his own ass with his own key.
First of all, I want to shake this dom's hand. That takes some fucking foresight.
So what are some tasks on a long distance chastity? So you're not there. Starla, you've lived with people, like you've done it in person. Now Nicco, you've done it in person too. But right now we're in a situation where Nicco has a long distance. So what are some fun things that you could make the Norwegian do?
Well, I have him taking weekly IQ tests because I want to see if he gets smarter or stupider. I'm also having him. Right now, he's on as he was talking to us, he was getting on a plane to go to Europe, and so I told him when he was there, I want very specific things from everywhere that he goes. There is a checklist. It's nothing crazy, people. It's stupid little trinkety shit. But here's the thing: he has to go and find this stupid little trinkety shit. And I want it. And his cock depends on it. And that's the game. I also send him daily, I send him videos of me, doing all of the stuff and things that that are his kryptonite. And those sorts of things. It's the attention. It's the effort. It's the care. It's the showing someone like, I understand that you're doing this for me. So in return, you're going to be really uncomfortable, but you're going to love it. That's such a weird contradiction. Guys.
It is. It's a
don't ever say you're not complicated.
It's a very complicated maelstrom of emotions. I'll say it again and again.
It is.
Oh, and then Stan says, or you could make him suck it like a popsicle. That is true.
I have once saved up all of the cum from a week's worth of sessions. I saved it all up in the refrigerator, and then I had a sub come in and I made him drink it all after I thawed it out. I have that on video somewhere.
And was the sub very eager to do it, or like?
It was no, it was look, there's certain things that we do as doms that they are just, it's like you do it for science at a certain point. You're like, okay, let's see. And it's art. It's amazing because you're just like the willingness and the create. I mean, this is someone's fucking bucket list, and I get to be part of it. And at any rate, as disgusting as I may have thought it was, he was on fucking cloud 9 on Jupiter, and I couldn't have been happier for him. And I'm glad that he allowed me to not only help him realize that dream, but be there when he had it. So
in other words, you're saying communication is the key. Starla, you were about to say something?
Oh, I was going to tell a story because we were talking about come eating. Sorry, we both have stories. So
I love your comedy stories. I tell you mine, you tell me yours.
I have a spoon that I can. It's real. It's an artifact. I have a spoon that I've had. Oh, it's been 10 years, maybe even longer than that, and it's my favorite spoon, and I use it every day to scoop out my coffee and measure it. And it's from a client who came, and he brought this particular spoon because he wanted to eat his own cum off of it. And it was the foresight and enthusiasm of this spoon. She doesn't have to use one of her spoons. I am bringing this spoon as like an offering to like his commitment for playing it out. And he used it, and he did as promised. And I had that, and then I cleaned it, and I'm like, well, it's a perfectly fine spoon. I don't want to throw it out. And it was sitting there in my drawer, like with my other utensils for a long time, and I didn't use it. And now I love that spoon so much. I use it every morning, and it's something that's just like so comforting because like we're not supposed to exist doing this. Like we're a contradiction, like the fantasy lady, like you're not real. You're just like a subconscious dream. And so I really like when a client comes to me and he has artifacts, and I can keep the artifacts, and there's like DNA attached to these things. I think about like DNA traces a lot because I'm real and I'm doing this, and people come to me and it's like they're invisible and they leave no trace, but maybe they left a hair behind, or like or they touch something, like they leave evidence. So I just that spoon is like totally clean now, but I love that I know it was real.
It's so funny. You use words like evidence and stuff like that, like it's true crime, which makes it
kind of is, because like how are dominatrixes not like a conspiracy theory?
We literally are the grayest area that ever existed. We are so shadowy shade, it's not even funny. Actually,
so Starla, so I asked Nicco about the long distance thing. What'd you say is the key, for lack of a better word? It's not a pun. What's the key to keeping an in-person chastity dynamic relationship?
I guess it would be like the attentiveness of it, and I just like general teasing, I guess. So I guess it would be like, maybe that's a boring answer, but like the sensation play of it.
No, the basic is good. The basic answer is good because the simplicity of it is important, because that's the root of it. It really is. So thank you very much.
So, and it's like a mixture of like how the technique. This is YouTube, so I don't want to give a demo. It's anyway, but like, because there's so many different areas that you can play with, and just so many different ways that you can do CBT or to tease. Like maybe you tease the shaft more, or like the tip more. Like I am a fan, like you guys probably know from my videos, like I am a fan of teasing the tip. I am a fan of the single finger, on the tip. And yeah, there's just, I would say, diversify how you come at it with the different sensations.
Teasing the tip, the single finger. If we learn anything from today's show, teasing the tip, the single finger goes a long way. Let's wait. I want to talk about, we have to be responsible. We got to talk about cleanliness. It's important to clean it. So how often do you clean it? Or should it be cleaned? How often?
I'm hoping whenever there's shower, so I'm hoping at least daily, especially if you're in a cage. Not that you need to actually like shower, but I hope you're at least rinsing your shit off daily, making sure it's all rinsed out, cleaned out. You don't have any weirdness going on, because attached with that comes odor, attached with that comes all sorts of things. Drippiness. I know drippiness is definitely a situation in cages. So you want to keep an eye on that. You want to make sure it's not leaking through your pants, because I've definitely had people walk in with big wet spots on their pants, and I'm just like, that's adorable. Now let's go to the mall. Keep those on. Let's go. So it's you definitely, if you're going to drip that much, you have got to keep it clean. Keep it clean. Don't bring me a dirty dick, because it will not come out of that. I will keep it right the fuck in there. I understand you can't control your drips, but at least have your shit clean when it comes to me. That's all I'm saying.
Chastity tears, as they call them. Now, we have to talk about sissies and sissification, right? So why do you think specifically? I mean, personally, I got into chastity because of the cross-dressing, because of the sissification porn and stuff like that. The forced feminization, all that stuff. But they're not mutually exclusive. Some people just like chastity without all of that. Is there a difference between someone who likes chastity and the whole sissification, forced femme aspect, the lingerie, and someone who's not into that at all and just into chastity? Do they have a different style, a different approach, a different vibe?
I can see the emasculating quality of that for a cross-dresser or a forced femme situation. Put your dick in a cage and pretend you're not, make you more of a woman, but let's face it, good luck. I'm gonna, throw everything on the floor first and foremost. But then, no, I think that I can see the humiliation aspect, the forced femme aspect. I can see that, but I don't know how the chastity and sissification would ever be mutually exclusive. I think that you have to. I mean, just because you're wearing a dress doesn't mean you can't have a big, beautiful cock too, or a little beautiful cock. I'm just saying, like, I feel like it would be more associated with a forced femme or someone who is a consenting, willing participant of the chastity. You know what I mean? Because, like, for instance, Mike the Norwegian, no way, shape, or form is into any sort of. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's a giant, like, femi-metrosexual, but he's not in any way, shape, or form interested in a forced femme situation, cross-dressing, anything like that. Like, he's not trying to put my panties on. He's just trying to smell them. That's his whole life.
Starla, do you have any thoughts, or do you know, or is there a difference between a regular chastity sub versus a forced femme sissification chastity sub?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Their style,
and,
their
like,
approach?
not to keep bringing up negative points of chastity, but I've been around the block. So I find it's like, maybe the forced femme people who tell me that my devices are too big, and I get it, and I know it's a trend to have like smaller devices and like the pancake devices and stuff, but I do not like being told what chastity devices I should have, or like what my style should be. Like, so that's something that's very new. And yeah, it would be like more force femme people who have been giving me these remarks, but yeah, and because I've had some really conservative people come to me with chastity devices, and I don't know. I don't know how they see it, but I know I've had a conversation with someone and he's like, it's kind of like the metal, and he liked the metal devices, and he said it's sort of like kind of like a grunge thing, like an alternative thing, like a 90s thing. Yeah, and he was like into Prince Albert piercing and stuff, which actually, like, I get some people yeah, I get a few questions every now and then about like people asking me about the Prince Albert piercing and if it's worth it, and so I find
a lot of
like
healing with that. My best buddy, my best friend in the whole wide world, he's got a Prince Albert, and this is actually a really funny story. So he goes and he's all gung ho. He's like, I'm gonna get a PA. I'm gonna get a PA. I'm like, do it. So he goes in. I go with him. He gets it, and then the piercer says, all right, so there's going to be no sexual contact for anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks. And my fucking buddy, he looked at me and he's like, the fuck did he just say? And I'm like, yeah, don't touch your dick. Don't have anyone put their mouth on it. Don't put it in any vaginas or buttholes. This is you for the next 6 to 8 weeks. Deal with your life. He was so unhappy. He's like, if I'd known this, I'd have never gotten it. And also, there's also huge risk factor for infection for the PA. That said, once they're healed, they're beautiful and they're rad. That's my opinion.
So is there, okay, after the PA, after the 6 to 8 weeks or whatever like that, what is, like, besides like putting a lock at the end of it with chastity,
right,
what are some of the benefits of having a PA and chastity? Besides just they look cool.
Well, you can't cheat, like you can't slip out of it.
Right.
Maybe you could cheat if you had a spare key, an extra key, but that's the appeal, is that you're locked in there.
I mean, you're really locked in there, and that's my agree. I agree with her 100%. It's like guaranteed.
Henry Jibnov asks, do you like to do ruined orgasms or post-orgasm torture? Let's take that question up a notch. What do you think that symbolizes? What do you think that means? Why would you ruin an orgasm or have post-orgasm torture in the first place?
Starla, you or me first?
You can go. You can go ahead.
I hate ruining your orgasm. I'm going to open with that. If I'm going to let you climax, I want you to shoot through the fucking roof. So if I ruin your orgasm, I didn't mean to, and I'm sorry. However, I will fuck you up with your own orgasm. No problem. That's my favorite thing to do in the whole wide world. I will watch you just, hit yourself in the face with your load, and then I will just relentlessly continue. I mean, I will have people screaming, yelling, shaking, everything. It doesn't matter. You're tied up. What the fuck are you going to do? Absolutely nothing. Just deal with your life. And it's here's the thing. I'm not nice about it. It's okay. It's all right. But I enjoy, okay, people ask, well, what do you like, mistress? What do you want to do, mistress? I think that's definitely somewhere I parked my car. I enjoy watching that. Oh, my dearest friend. What's he calls it? There's a something shiver. Oh, anyway, I love to watch him shake. I don't want to say it because I'm sure I'll just murder it. It's a Japanese word. I'll fuck it up. But the thing of it is I like to watch that shiver and that shake and just that uncontrollable, because here's the thing, women can domino. I will keep going because some women can just keep at it. And most men can't, but some men can. And what happens if you learn how to? What happens if during our session, you learn how to control your cock to the point where you can get it up and go again? Right now.
Right on.
That's what I'm just trying to hear. I'm just out here saving lives, people. Fuck.
Starla, do you like ruined orgasms or post-orgasm torture?
My answer is so different than Nico's. So I am it's the opposite. So I love ruined orgasms. And as for post-orgasm torture, okay. I don't at all, because after they come, it's like with all that energy and pressure building, building, building. And then as soon as they come, it's like the curtains close, and it's like, I'm such a fucking weirdo. It's like in my head, like after they come, it's like I could hear an applause. Yay! It's done. She's finished. She made him come. Bravo, bravo. And it's like a fucking masterpiece. And then the torture part of that, and like maybe this is like so fucking, I don't know, twisted or whatever, but it's like, oh, do you need some Kleenex to clean up? And it's the torture is like me just fucking spectating them, and like when they have an orgasm, how their eyes are like rolling in outer space, and they're like, I don't know where I am. And like, just the release and what it does to their body, and then just being like, oh, you want a tissue? You need, are you, do you know where you are? Do you know who, do you know your name? Do you need a tissue? And like, I guess it's that vulnerability where I'm like, you need me, you need that tissue. And just like the torture would be, and that's not the part of the humiliation that they signed up for, but that's like my fucking personal gain is like, I know where the tissue is. I'm going to give it to you. Isn't it nice and soft? And like letting them clean themselves up.
I love you so much.
Because I am present and they are so not present. And maybe that's when I feel the most powerful, actually, is when they are like really vulnerable. And like also, so talking about like relics and like going back to that and like evidence of the fantasy. And I don't know if I'm gonna like be doing this going forward, but it's like my obsession with the Kleenex boxes and like the cardboard of the box, and how I use that to collage a lot. Like it's a fucking trophy. So and this sort of a ritual for me is like when I go to the pharmacy and I pick out the Kleenex boxes, I'm like, what does the pattern look like? What does that artwork look like? And I'm gonna use that. I like, and it's the premeditating, like, I like that Kleenex box. I'm gonna finish the box, and then I'm gonna make a fucking collage of it, like, and put it on my fucking wall because I'm a psycho. And so I've been thinking about this and like my own personal trophies, and I don't know if I'm gonna be doing that going forward, but that's definitely the Kleenex boxes like really play into it for me. Maybe that's my fetish.
Henry continues, in Japan and China,
You
post-orgasm torture.
You win.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you do, son. Henry continues.
Yeah. So Henry, let's tell us more. Now I'm curious and I need to know, because it's a popular genre. What is it called? Where can I mean, I know where I can find it, but I mean, what's it called so I can find it easily?
Orgasm torture and male squirting. All right. Let's get some male squirters.
Isn't that just called coming?
I don't know.
I don't know anymore. I like
IDK asks, answer please. What is the
IDK? Hey, IDK. We've been having a whole fucking show about chastity. Why don't you do us a solid and go back and watch it? Because we've told you like 10 fucking times. Don't.
What's the longest? Yeah. Rewind. All right. So on it, we gotta end this. And this is not the typical show, but I want to end this on a positive note. So
absolutely.
Let's put it this way. As a key holder and as somebody who's in the lifestyle, now chastity is not the solution for everything. It's of course not.
No.
It's a very unique, very complicated thing, but it has helped people. It really has. It's opened people's minds. It's funny how a lock can free your mind. You know what I mean, or free your heart, so to speak. So
That's
how
strong.
has chastity play? I'm going to start with Starla. How has chastity play not only made your life better in some ways, focus on the positive, but also made your sub's life better in some ways?
Well, my like it creates a concept where I can connect with people. And hopefully the way that I'm making their life better is the thing that I really like about chastity is it's a way to cope. And it's like sometimes you just need some kind of a cold comfort or whatever, but just knowing that it's there and that it's a timely thing and it can be a way to cope and it can be something to think about and to look forward to. And that it's not something that causes irreversible damage. So to do it in a healthy way, and hopefully to connect with yourself in a more physical way. I think like I don't know. It's like one of those things where I can't experiment on myself with it. I can't practice it on myself. But my intent is like it's not even to be sadistic about it. It's just like a way to meditate to kind of like meditate in a sexual way and discover things for discovery.
To expand, Henry says male squirting in Japanese BDSM context is the water-like liquid that a man squirts when stimulation continues after orgasm. So different from normal coming, actually. Oh, that's good to know.
See,
Nicco.
this is
Yeah.
educational now.
This is an
I like it.
educational show.
It's good.
Nicco.
Oh, you know,
Oh,
I've seen that. Anyway.
No. Elaborate, because now I'm dead curious.
yeah. Where have you seen male squirting?
Yeah.
I think it was art college. It was a long time ago, but it was like he came, but it wasn't.
Come.
Anyway,
I just think it's hilarious. You said where did that happen? I don't know. I think it was art college. I find that really funny.
We've had some weird shit go down in art school, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've had some of the best weirdest shit I've ever seen in my life. In fact, I'm not too ashamed to talk about this. My dear past deceased friend Tomix, he just recently passed away. One of the most amazing humans I've ever known. This guy had the most amazing cock, and he could literally roll himself up into a pretzel ball and give himself head, and it was amazing. And these are the things that we learned in art school.
So with that being said, Nicco, as Starla answered the question, I want you to kind of take us home.
I think Starla answered the question. I think that Starla said it beautifully. Well,
how is you personally?
I think Starla really hit the nail on the head. It is a form of sexual meditation. It is a way to check back in with your body, with your dominant, with your sub. Because it's not just him going through the motions, because as much as he likes to think about me just going through my day, not thinking about his cock, fact of the matter is I spend a great part of my day rather, making sure that he knows I'm thinking about his cock. And I guess that's the thing, is it's a constant form of communication, and it's a way of meditation. It's a way for us both to kind of just be on the same page, the constant same page with the long distance, and it's to just constantly have that bond of kinky weirdness that keeps you linked, through states and time and God knows what else.
So for the final question before you promote yourselves and everything like that, but what's next? What's next for your chastity adventures, Starla?
A new city.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because I know myself my patterns and like my go-to places and dungeons, and I need to muster up the courage to reinvent everything in a different place. And I have support, and I have people who are optimistic about my new adventures and everything, and so I'm just going to chase a good buzz, and hopefully I'm gonna find a good group of people, but I don't know, maybe I'm gonna instigate some stuff too. We're gonna see. But yeah, and I like, I know I'm supposed to be a a goddess who isn't afraid, but I am afraid, and it's I have to find the courage, to start fresh.
Even goddesses get afraid, and
Yeah.
you have the courage. I mean, with everything I've seen what you've done, I've seen your work. You are very courageous, very talented, extremely beautiful, and I'm so thankful that you're here. I
Thank
really
you,
am.
Nick. I'm so glad to see you. I am so glad.
I am so glad to be alive. I'm so glad.
Yeah,
Just to be speaking
I'm
with both
so
of you.
happy to see both of you. Like it's
I know. I was just saying I need to get my passport situated, because I would love to come out and just see you and work with you and make some art with you and just fuck around and do nothing with you. I think that we would have a great
Calgary,
time.
you guys. Come to Calgary. We'll go to the mountains.
Oh, we got plans. We'll talk offline about that. We'll definitely talk
Yeah,
offline.
no, we do have plans, and you need to be part of those plans.
Oh, we have. Oh, wait, one more question before we go. IDK says, "What are your thoughts on Viagra and chastity torture and teasing and denying while on Viagra?"
I was thinking about this, but I have no experience with this. So,
I don't personally have experience with it. However, I do have secondhand experience with it. With from a dom that I kind of witnessed her go through all the motions of that with him, and I think that I think there is definitely a time and a place for being that mean, vindictive, malice-filled dominatrix. Sometimes that's what people need. They need that rawness, and I think that's when you fuck with Viagra and chastity.
I look at it like
I'm just gonna say, be careful. Like, yeah, I agree with you, but
and it has to be consensual always. 100%.
IDK, I'm just gonna say, be careful with the deep end.
There you go.
That's what I'm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna agree with
careful
that.
with the deep end, and those are very wise words. We're gonna end it on that. What do we want to promote, Starla? Please tell us, how can we get in touch with you? How can we promote yourself? How can people give you money?
Give me money. I have an OnlyFans. You can find me on X. I have YouTube. Just Google me. I'm spreading myself all over. But yeah, if you want to DM me, do it on OnlyFans, and join my kingdom.
Definitely the Femdom Empire. And Nicco, how can we get in touch with you?
If you want to come find me, you want to come fuck with me, you want to come play with me in my neon boudoir, go to NiccoNoire.com. If you want to get in touch with me, you're going to find all the information you need to do that. I also have an OnlyFans. I am on just about all social media. Yeah, NiccoNoire.com. Find me on OnlyFans, find me on Insta, find me on X, and come see me. Give me money!
Definitely. Please support these women. Support Nicco Noire. Support Goddess Starla Vamp. Support
Nicholas Tanek.
Please go to the GoFundMe page. Sunshine set up a GoFundMe page. Any money for hospital, for insurance. Yeah. But yeah. Like, subscribe, contribute, support art of kinky people. It's very important. We need you, like you need us. So it's mutually beneficial. And please,
people are what inspire us.
For those who are locked in, I hope you love your key holder. And so please, yes, donate, support kinky people, and remember the cardinal rule, everybody: be cool, be kind, and keep an open mind. Take care. Have a good night.
Good night.
Lock it up.